So in today's video, I want to share with you how to take advantage of hurricanes like Idalia and other disasters in your area. Now that sounds really bad, but it's not bad. It's not like taking advantage of people. But if you're an entrepreneur, I'm going to show you some ways to take advantage of the situation. So I am just a little bit east of Tampa. And we got the winds out there now. It's all, gray, and it's been raining all night. But it wasn't as bad as people predicted, at least in our area. Of course, we weren't close to the eye. The closer to the eye and the closer to the coast you are, the worse it's going to be. So what do I mean by take advantage of this storm? Well, everybody thought, even in my area, that everything was going to close down and it was going to get really bad. And sometimes these hurricanes shift, right? But here's what happens. I wanted to go out for lunch, and I'm calling everybody, and everybody's closed down. It's like, what the heck? So here's how you would take advantage of this. This is especially for brick and mortar, restaurants, things like this. One of the things that most small brick and mortar companies do not do, like restaurants, cafes, things like that, they do not work hard to acquire their customers' emails and phone numbers. Not once did I get an email or a text from any local restaurant or local business that said, "Hey Gary, we're open." Everybody's shutting down, but we haven't. So here's the thing. If these companies that would stay open, there's some now that I just drove down the road looking for some place to have lunch, right? So we drove down the road, and most of the places where I go to, they were shut down. A lot of the places, I was surprised, were open. But even in the past, if you would acquire these emails, acquire these phone numbers, let's say you knew for a fact last night that it really wasn't that bad, the hurricane wasn't that bad, and you were going to open up your restaurant or open up your store, well, now would be the time to blast everybody with an email, send everybody with a text and says, "Hey, we're going to be open tomorrow. It's not as bad as everybody thought. Look forward to seeing you." Now, let me give you some ideas on other areas that we could do small little moves and small little shifts to increase our sales. And I want you to be thinking about this if you're an entrepreneur. And I love watching companies and figuring out what little things they could do. So not too long ago, I was at a farmer's market. Now you may be thinking farmer's market, that's just a small little operation, but there's a grocery store type food stand, vegetables and fruits. And I go there often and I get my vegetables and fruits. So I'm looking for ways, what could this gentleman do to make more money, increase his sales? Now this is just a simple little idea, but it's creative and effective. Now when I shared it with him, he looked at me like I was a little weird. It didn't make any sense. So what I did is I noticed that every time that I bought something with a credit card, he has a point of sale machine, you'll swipe it through and you type in whatever you need to type in. And because it's like a farmer's market type thing, once you swipe your card, normally on those point of sale machines, like especially at a restaurant, they will pop up 3 little squares. Want to leave a tip, 10%, 15%, 20%. There's nothing there for him. So I said to him, why don't you consider, after somebody swipes a card, to offer the opportunity for the customer to leave a tip. Now, typically, you don't leave a tip at a grocery store, but why not ask? You don't know if you don't know. You always ask, always make the offer, even though it's 10% or 15%. Now, if he did that, let's say he had 200 people stop by and see him on a Saturday when we're out there at the farmer's market, and let's say only 10%. So what, 20 people? 20 people decide that they would do that, and 20 people leave, I don't know, let's say 20 people, it's $5. It's $100. $100 for doing nothing. It's going to take him, maybe 3 minutes to put it into the little software, and that's it. He'll never have to touch it again. And literally he will make an extra 100 or 200 or whatever for doing absolutely nothing other than that 5 minutes. Little tiny things that we can do to take advantage of situations that we're not implementing. And a lot of reasons why people, especially the mom and pop, the smaller companies, brick and mortar, don't ask is because they're afraid to say no. It may imposition the customer, and I get that. So in my book, if you have not gotten this book, You Can't Fillet a Nibble, It's the catch that counts. I show you in this book how to be massively persistent and consistent to grow your sales. You know, you can't fillet a nibble. A nibble is just a bite. That doesn't count. It's the catch that counts. So you don't want to be excited about the possibility of a sale. That's just a nibble. You can't feed yourself on nibbles, but it's the catch that is what counts. All right, so with that being said, I went to another location. Now, this company had it figured out. Another small mom and pop type of, I think it's a vegan restaurant that I go to on Saturdays when I'm in town. And when I swipe my card, it offers you the opportunity to give them a tip. Now, earlier I said that, you know, some people start with 10% little square, then 15% square, and then there's a 20% you push which one you want. This restaurant starts off with 20%. That's pretty smart. So you can't go to 10%, you can't go to 15%. You are forced automatically to go to 20%, 15%, or 30%. Now, there is a button for custom, so if you want to feel uncomfortable and hit custom and go down to 10% or 15%, you have that option to do that as well. So I want you to be thinking about, not just if you're not a brick and mortar, most people watching my stuff is usually online because there's so many online things now, but online, what kind of a little upsell can you offer? Or in a brick and mortar, what kind of an upsell can you offer? Look at all the fast food chain stores. How often do you hear them ask, want some fries with that? That's a simple upsell. If they ask that 1,000 times a day and only 10% of the people say yes to that, imagine what the increase of sales of that would be, and then not to mention do that daily. I go to another restaurant, and I really need to talk to them about this. I go to another restaurant, and when somebody asks for a sandwich, they ask them, do you want half or do you want a whole? I would not do that. I know when I order a sandwich, it's assumed or presumed that I'm ordering the whole sandwich. Now, if a person really wants a half a sandwich, I would get them to offer that on their own without me asking, do you want a half or a whole? Because they may have a tendency to go to a half, which will cut your sales in what? Cut your sales in half. So I want you to be thinking about things like this for your own business. If you're an entrepreneur, there's so many ways, so many little things. You just have to have that metal detector on, and as long as you're thinking that way and swiping the ground, if you will, for precious metals, there's some precious metals, some precious opportunities in your business that I believe that you can excel more than what you're doing by just doing small, little, tiny things. And it's absolutely amazing how these little things can change and increase your business. All right, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I am recently hacked, as you probably may have heard if you've seen my videos before. I'd love to see if you would please subscribe. Look forward to sharing more of these videos like this with you. Make a comment as well. I'd love to respond to your comments and a like. I'm out of here between now and the next time we get to chat. You know what to do. Don't let anything or anyone rent space in your head. Look for some great, fun, cool ways to increase your sales. We'll see you.